I dreamed with the spirit of the oak tree in the nights leading up to the recent summer solstice. According to Celtic folklore, the oak tree is one of two twin kings of the forest. Oak is one of the monarchs, and holly is the other one. Oak is said to be crowned king of the forest at the summer solstice, while holly is crowned king of the forest at the winter solstice. According to much of that folklore, those two kings actually have to battle it out. And it's only through that battle that Oak rises and gets crowned on the summer solstice. And then in turn, Holly recovers from the battle and rises up and wins and gets crowned on the winter solstice. But what Oak shared with me is that the forest actually isn't a battleground. Instead, Oak gave me an image of a breath cycle. The breath cycle that Oak showed me started with a great big inhale on the winter solstice. On the day when the holly is at its zenith and being crowned king of the forest, is the day when Oak begins that great big breath cycle. And he begins this inhale and he starts to fill himself up with the light of the sun that shines through the canopy of leaves and even from the stars beyond our sun. And at the same time, the roots of the oak are gathering the light and the energy of the earth and the forest. And all of that light and energy of earthlight and starlight is mingling with oak's own wisdom and growing brighter and growing stronger and increasing through the first half of the year leading up to the summer solstice. And on that day is when Oak's breath is finally full, and he is full of light. He is at his zenith. He can't possibly take anything more in. And then at that point, there's a momentary pause. It's that infinitesimal pause when our breath reverses from an inhale to an exhale. And that moment is when solstice takes place, according to Oak. Interestingly, the Celtic word for oak, dur, means door. And in the Druidic tradition, oak is indeed a door. It's a doorway into the time of year when the light slowly begins to wane and to fade from the earth. It's a doorway into other things too, into wisdom, for example. But in my dreams, Oak showed me that that momentary pause, or in that inflection point between Oak's great inhale and the start of his great exhale, is when the doorway to summer opens. And it's through that doorway that the stored light of the oak can unfurl, can be released, and can roll across the earth. And he showed me that that stored light contains all of the magic and wonder and possibility that we might remember from our childhood summers. So it's quite fitting that Oak shared an image of a doorway opening at midsummer, given that that's truly what his name means. So as the year progresses and as the sunlight slowly recedes from Earth, Oak's breath slowly begins to empty. And when his great exhale is finally complete, there is again an infinitesimal pause at winter solstice before the great inhale begins again. Meanwhile, the holly tree is experiencing the opposite breath cycle. I think of those two entwined breath cycles of the monarchs of the forest like a figure eight or an infinity sign. The oak is inhaling as holly is exhaling, and vice versa. That idea of an entwined breath cycle and of movement of life force, a shared life force energy, is really in keeping with our scientific understanding of the forest now. Scientists used to think that the forest was a place of great competition. According to that way of thinking, plants and trees really had to battle it out for limited resources, for light and for water, for example. But as it turns out, the forest is actually a really cooperative organism and it shares resources. Scientists are now coming to understand that plants and trees actually communicate through the mycelial network that's woven through the soil, that's woven through the earth. And the way that we're shifting our understanding of the forest from a place of great competition to a place of great cooperation and shared resource and communication is very much in keeping with the image that the oak shared with me of a shared breath cycle. So, with the solstice having just passed, we're now standing in the open doorway of summer with that wonderful light and wisdom of the oak tree unfurling across the earth. An oak is extending an invitation to all of us to connect with the light of the oak tree, the light of the reigning king of the forest, and to experience the magic and the wonder that lies through the summer doorway, and to remember that we too are part of the breath cycle of the earth. You might try inviting the spirit of the oak tree into your dreams this summer and see what wisdom he has to share with you.